Kechi then, and she was saying the 4-year tenure is not enough. P2B seemingly acting in desperation and all those stuffs, right? Again, I think that's the problem here, right? Yeah, me personally, if I want P2B, I wouldn't want him for 4 years, right? But again, we are looking at what is obtainable, right? That's just the truth. We are looking at what is obtainable. What is the best? Would you rather have him for 4 years, or would you rather never have him at all? But because I think that is the only options we have here. It's either we have him for 4 years or we won't have him at all. So if there's option of having him more than 4 years, right? I wouldn't choose to have him for only 4 years, right? But there are people who achieve great things within 4 years. I think that is just the whole point. The idea that if he does well, they will compel him. Actually, I don't buy into that, right? And the problem I even have with his 4 years is not giving any condition, right? If he's giving conditional statement like, if you give me your support, I will do 4 years, right? You know, he's making the demand from a certain people or from a certain demography, probably from the north, who wants to take over after 4 years. So I'll be banking and I'll be looking at whether they will supported him. So if he goes without them, if he wins without their support, he can seek for re-election, right? But the way his last tweets, or the penultimate one, the one where he talked about his 4 years being sacrosanct, right, shows that he just is fixed on, or he seemingly doesn't want to stay beyond 4 years, right? Based on that, right, I basically think he has to be in office for just 4 years. After, once he is elected by 2023. So it doesn't matter how well he performs. There will be opposition to his government who will also say he has not done anything. So he has to be in office for 4 years. But the question me I will now ask is, if he's going in for 4 years alone, and he knows that from the beginning, because many times second tenure is seen as reward for people who have done well, although it has been abused. A lot of people who have not even done anything get second tenure. So what will be his motivation to actually do well? What will be his motivation, since from the beginning he has decided to do 4 years? So he's not going to be seeking for second tenure. Why will he do well, since he's sure from day one that I will only stay 4 years? And that will be my biggest question. So any of you can chime in if you have anything to say about that.
Let me start by saying the idea of 4 years um, is coming from, now this is my personal opinion and my own political analysis. It's coming from the fact that this gentleman agreement, if you want to be transparent, if you want to, sorry, I beg, like I said, they call me from, sorry, I will come back. Afo, I'll come back.
Okay, please, before he comes back, if you're just joining this space, let's try and post this space so that we'll have a lot of people on the space. Josie, please, am I audible?
You're audible.
Okay. Please, if you're on the space, let's retweet or repost this space so that other people can join us, please. Please, let's repost first so that we can get audience as we had before. Just go to the comment section and you see a place to repost. Where you repost, please repost this space, please. Thank you. 3 persons has reposted. Mr. Williams, I can see your hand. I'll give you the opportunity, please. Let's see how much people we can get. We've lost a lot of people due to the 8 for now. I want us to repost it. Please.
So concerning getting with, we won't vote you next. Made just Amechi, to the best of my knowledge. I saw a video. I think I didn't watch it, but I saw a comment where he has made similar comment. So people did not, when it gets to
Actually,
20,000.
Josie, actually, Peter Obi said it first before Amechi. So Peter Obi said it like almost a month before Amechi.
Okay, fine. But as it is, we know our northern brothers. When it is their turn, you don't drag it with. In fact, 2019, there was almost no southerner that dragged it with Buhari, and it has been like that. When it is the turn of the north, I know this turn thing. Peter Obi is not a fan of my turn, our turn, their turn, but it has become an unwritten law now, an unwritten way we do things, that after 8 years, power goes to the other half of the country. So I've decided to just look at it from the brighter side, that you cannot threaten him. We will not vote for you. He will do, if he needs to step on toes, if he needs to jail anybody, if he needs to squeeze anybody. Our 210 trillion is missing. If he needs to put people behind bars to vomit them, we will do it. And nobody will be able to say, we won't vote you. You jailed our brother, we won't vote you. So I've decided to see it from the brighter side. He has made that commitment. And if you say you want an article to come and do 4 years before Obi collects it and do 8 years, there is a tendency that, look, I don't trust Atiku. Atiku can come in, mess up the polity, and it will be a soil on Peter Obi's reputation, whether he be VP or just being a stakeholder in the party.
Just my brother, that thought of Atiku doing 4 years and all those things are nonsense. Any risk of Atiku becoming president, you can kiss goodbye to any rotation or anything. I mean, you can just say not will be in power for another 80 years and nothing will happen.
Yeah, so
I don't even want to.
So I just let's for me, I've decided to see positive side. Are you?
Okay. Mr. B, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Okay, continue, boss.
Okay. So thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much, Mr. Josie. Wills, you wanted to speak. Okay, go ahead. After you're done speaking, Ground will speak. But before then, please, let's retweet this space. Go to the comment section. We have just 3 reposts. If you want other people to hear what we're talking about, we have to repost so that they would join us. We have just 3 people here. There is a lot of people. Please try to
I was on the treadmill, so I said, let me be listening. I was hearing what everybody was saying, and honestly,
I was just saying something to Mr. B. Yeah.
No, I think it was probably Williams, because Williams' hand was up at the point in time.
Okay. Go ahead, Grandmaster.
You must have been calling him.
Yeah.
So, like I said, everybody's opinion is actually valid from my own understanding, but I think we are getting ahead of ourselves here. And honestly, I think we should be very, very careful. I'm not saying that these kind of discussions are not needed or necessary, but I think it's not supposed to be something we should be indulging in at for a very long period of time. Why am I saying this thing? Peter Obi is a very strategic person. Okay, that's my own belief. Peter Obi is a very strategic person. He knows exactly what he did when he did it, and he knows exactly what he said when he said it. I personally will not come here, and start deliberating over what Peter Obi said. Actually speaks to his this and that. I don't have time for that. I'll let the man do his thing. But what I wanted to say is this: why I said that we are getting ahead of ourselves. I'll ask you guys a question. Would you rather have another 4 years of Tinubu from 2027, or would you have 4 years of Peter Obi? Now, the reason why I'm saying this is that as it stands today, you don't have power. You don't. Let's be realistic. Peter Obi doesn't have power. ADC does not have power. Atiku has no power. The person that has the power is Tinubu. So if we come and we start making permutations of what is going to happen in the next, 4 years or 8 years, I think we are doing ourselves a disservice. I think the ultimate goal should be, first of all, get power. Then we can start having these discussions. And I feel like when Peter Obi made the statement he made, that is a strategic move that he made, right? It is a very strategic move to put himself in contention. And you can clearly see that that thing he said is beginning to rattle, the other, camps. For the past couple of days now, they have been making a mess of themselves, insulting themselves, thinking they are insulting Peter Obi, calling him all kinds of names, somebody without integrity. It tells that Peter Obi knows what he does. Tinubu is not to be joked with. Let us not mistake this thing. I think we are beginning to become too relaxed about who we are up against. And I'll say this again to Nigerians. Remember that as of 2022, Tinubu was not in power. But this man had almost full control of the presidency then. You saw the way he was speaking to the president then. He wasn't a president. He was telling the then sitting president, Muhammadu Buhari, that he was crying when he came to him. And then he helped him and made him a president. He told a sitting president that he made him a president. And you think this man is going to be a joke now that he's in power? And I feel like, honestly speaking, I don't want us to be carried away. The ultimate goal for me personally now is to win. Win first. You see, the people that speak listen, two is not a winner. Two is not a winner. And number three, nobody will ever remember. It is number one that is the winner. And that is the person that they will talk about for the next 3-4 generations. No matter how much you try to talk about it, if you end up not winning the ultimate prize, it's not going to matter. Tinubu is formidable. Let us not come here. Forget the fact that this man is acting as if he's going to die today or tomorrow or something like that. Oh, he doesn't. This man is formidable. And you can clearly see in the way he has been moving lately. I mean, I don't know any other person who has started taking these elections as seriously as Tinubu is doing today. Honestly, like, this guy is setting up structures before our very eyes. Okay, today now, there's a space that is currently running, having over 1,000 plus. That is violent space number, right? Violent space number. The last time I went into that space, I was listening to the entire story of Nigeria being written, the entire Tinubu's administration being written. In fact, a certain lady picked up the mic and said that Tinubu's economy is one of the best economy globally today. One lady called her Babiri or something. That's the Mind Shift Org girl, right? And there was nobody to counter that fact, that point, because the entire speaker section was filled with people who were, throwing 100 and thumbs up. There was nobody to counter that point. So you don't understand that these things are properly orchestrated. Do you think it's a coincidence that somebody who normally, when he runs a space, has like 200, 250 people, maximum 300 people, and then he touches and he goes down, all of a sudden just balloon to 1,500 people listening to him, right? It is not a coincidence. That is the game that they have started playing. So the messages are beginning to. So with 1,500 people listening, Somebody is telling you that this government is the greatest government. In fact, I was paying attention to the characters, soft-spoken individuals came and were reeling out fake numbers after fake numbers with very calm tone and very calm voices. Reeling out fake numbers after fake numbers. No room to debunk. The only guy that they placed there to try to, question some of the fake numbers they were reeling out was shouted down. Was shouted down by the rest of the people because they literally mobbed him. And then what did the host do? The host even attacked the guy that's trying to question. That no matter what they tell you guys should not believe. You don't see the game that is going on here. The selling of this man has started. So Tinubu is an incumbent that is playing like the underdog. And I think we should take this thing seriously. So me, I will not come and start. Oh, Jesus Christ. So I will not start discussing whether, P2B is gonna do 4 years or it's gonna do. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I don't even know if I'm gonna be here in the next 4 years. Right? I don't know if I'm gonna be here in the next 4 years. Even though I pray to God that I will be, but I don't know if I'm gonna be. So I should be more concerned with actually ensuring that as of today, what am I gonna do to ensure that our principle, a man we believe in, actually makes it? Because it's not gonna be yam and beans in 2027. And you guys are beginning to see. You see, in 2022, I said this thing before. I think it was the Chukwudema space. We had the element of surprise. We had the element of underestimation. They underestimated us. Because when they were saying 3 people or 4 people tweeting from a room, they did not know that the movement was real. They did not believe it. And then in fact, I still say that surprise was too, the effect of that surprise, the blow that he hit them on that election day was actually what led them to cut off that IRF. That is what I personally believe, because they did not expect such influx of votes going the direction of LP on that day. That was why they shut it down. But we don't have element of surprise anymore. That is the reality. And there is not going to be any, Tinubu sold drugs in California, in Chicago, or Tinubu saying Bala Blue. These things will not sell anymore in 2020. So what are we going to do? We are supposed to focus on the message that Tinubu's government has failed. And as it stands today, it seems these guys are doing a better job than we do. Because if they are hosting a space where there are about 1,500 people sitting there, and a speaker session that is saturated with people that are really now fake figures after figure in calm, with calm demeanor and in calm voices. My brother, we have to do more. So it's not as if I am not, I know that P2B, number 2, P2B is not, I think somebody said that P2B, he knows P2B does not believe in all this zoning thing. P2B does. He does. P2B believes in zoning. He has been saying these things since how long? It's just not today. He started speaking about zoning. And I respect him for actually, because we look at these things and we say, oh, let us come and, forcefully put ourselves there. He will not. Imagine now a P2B comes into that place and then try to perpetuate himself. He will throw this country into calamity. And I don't think P2B is that kind of a person. He's a man of integrity and he's going to hold him to his word. That does not mean that P2B is written off. I believe that even if P2B has the opportunity for 4 years and actually deliver, because truthfully speaking, I am very, very, very much anticipating what a P2B presidency is going to be like. Because all these things I've been preaching about good governance, I want to see if P2B is actually capable of delivering all these things he has been saying. Because if everything he has been saying so far, he's capable of delivering it, I don't think that by the time P2B is done with his first term, that the chance for him to repeat another term will not be at his, highest decibel. So, me personally, let's leave the 4 years he said. I don't think it's a problem. For now, I don't think it's a problem. You have to, first of all, get the ground before you start looking for the mats. Otherwise, you'll be holding your mat in your hand. We don't have power. Let us get the power. And the person we are going up against is formidable. He is not a joke. This man knows the game. Look at how they have started subtly campaigning. Festus Keyamo was on TV the other day talking about their strategy for winning the North. That is subtle campaigning already going on now. So what are we going to do as Nigerians? We want people to be there. Let us leverage on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where other Nigerians Nigerians that historically, because we know what they sold to the Northerners in 2022, that P2P is a religious bigot. And they preach this thing across the mosques in the North. They paid their imams money to preach that P2P was a religious bigot. So a lot of them voted based on P2P is a religious bigot and the Muslim ticket. And today, the Muslim ticket has failed. Now, some of these people are beginning to realize that this man is not actually who they think he is. It's not actually, who they preached he is. So they are willing to give a chance. Can we leverage on this opportunity as Nigerians collectively and get a different leader in first? Then we can talk about 4 years. That's just all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so
Wait,
much for your
I get talk with
contribution.
Grandmaster, I beg, before he go. Make him never
No
go.
problem. Just sorry, hold on. You see here.
I have issues
Thank
with
you so
Grandmaster.
much.
He said something when I was co-hosting. I didn't respond that time. I want to respond now.
Sorry, sir.
Sorry, leave that. Make
Then I said, let's not just talk the talk. And do me that thing.
the person that I spoke
He's
to
the
his
person that
submission
spoke
was
before
the guy
you.
that was talking about fuel subsidy.
The place of putting our voice together, if we didn't think it was important, I won't be on this space talking. Definitely will not. I have a lot I'm doing. But then, to talks, the reason why you do the talks is to inspire action, is to get people informed, to know what to do. You don't just do it for them to hear and do what with the information exactly. You are trying to inspire action, inspire people to do things, to get impact. But you don't get it by just saying it, right? So if all our talk doesn't lead to meaningful actions that will produce results, whether it's on the ballot, whether it's on pushing for a 4 years tenure or whatever it is all geared towards impactful actions. It will be meaningless if we just come to talk and nobody is being pressured or being inspired to do something about it. So that is what I'm trying to say. To our talking, there must be action. The reason we talk is because we want to motivate ourselves, motivate others, push people in power to do something about the current situation. Because if you are waiting till a social person come, what happens to the lives that will be lost before that time? What happens to the people that are currently in need of government intervention before that time? So while we are pushing for where we want to go to, there is also need to put pressure that will demand action from government agencies, so that we can at least mitigate the level of destruction that they are doing to the government. Because the more they destroy, the harder it is to rebuild. That is just my humble submission. Oga Koladi, I've said it.
No, my brother, it wasn't even you. It's you only, instead of you to correct in code the speaker who said it. It wasn't you that said it per se. It was the speaker that said it. But instead of you to correct the speaker by saying what you just said now, you just agreed with the speaker like that. So that was.
Not give me opportunity to talk now.
And again, also based on what Grant just said now, if talking does not make any impact, if talking, like coming on spaces to talk like this, if it does not make any impact, you won't be seeing APC hosting spaces and gathering over 1,000 people to talk. So my brother, this is the new media. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that if you just come and talk anyhow, you must be strategic about it, and always remember that people have now made this there, including me. This is my radio 24/7. I tune into anything that I know that would make sense. I tune in, I listen. And in listening, just imagine how many more people does the same thing. So it is what you give out, the information you give out, that some people will have to run with. So that's why I say we need to be deliberate about what we do on spaces, because you hold a power that you need to understand how to use effectively and maximally. Thank you.
Can I also add something to that, Uncle Kolade? I think there's something that a lot of us actually overlook too, right? And honestly speaking, I think Nigerians would wish not to, ever have this advantage. And that advantage is the advantage of the diasporans. Trust me, Any day diasporans decide not to talk anymore and start minding their business, my brother, you go hard. Oh. You see, for this political discussion, you go use style hard. Because the truth is that as it stands today, diasporans cannot do much on ground unless maybe elections are holding. They can now come down maybe and vote, or come down once in a while to come and join the campaign for like maybe a week or two and then disappear again because they have a life and they have a job, right? So the most they can do is talking. I have a friend of mine here who is from Edo State. He has not traveled to Nigeria now for close to eight years or something, right? I think even since he came here, he has only traveled once. But this guy, the day up 24/7, they talk. He has, if he can decide to say, I'm not going to do anything, no, just focus on his life. If you know how much this my brother, donated during the 2022 campaign, if you know how much he donated, this one I know, go, because I remember that time we used to use the iTransfer. You understand? To send money. So he has a limit where he go send. If he reach that time, he go tell me, say, guy, I beg, help me send this money to this campaign, this thing, support group. And I give him the receipts. You understand? So I think talking actually does something to a certain degree. Because the moment the aspirants decide not to speak, my brother, he go hard somehow. And finally, let me say this. Another reason why I believe that talking actually helps to a certain degree, no matter what it is, the most important thing that you are speaking up. There's a brother of ours called Magnific Dude. When I first joined this app, when I first came to Twitter Nigeria, March 2022, Magnific Dude was one of the first people I ever met on this app. I used to go to his room. He used to host rooms where he meet back then. My what do you call it? My name then was Stoptimus, because that was the name I used to be at that time on Facebook, right? I used to go there. This brother, I did not know he lived in America, Makachi, because from 7 o'clock in the morning, he's already up. He will be mobilizing donation, support groups will be coming to him. He will give this person, money. People should mobilize yourself for Saturday. Take this money for material. People that will donate to come and say, Margo, I have so amount of money. I want to donate $100. I want to donate €100. I want to donate $200, and they will just go, right? It was the day I found out that this guy actually lives in Texas, which means that every time he wakes up by 6 o'clock in the by 7 o'clock in the morning, I don't even know when he wakes up anyway, but he may start around 7, 8. At least that was my idea of that one. That means it's around 2 going to 3 o'clock in the morning in Texas. Bro, leave that in. How many people will wake up at that particular time in the night or in the morning and start hosting a space? And the most interesting part is that he does not do this once in a while. Every single day. Every single day. At least all the time that we were campaigning, most of the 1 million man matches they did. There's this our brother that was studying in the University of I think it's Nasarawa or something like that. I can't remember the name of that university. That organized the first 1 million man match. It was on that space that they organized. Because I used to listen, be an ardent listener of that space with our doorway them, right? It was on that space that they organized the very first 1 million man match that showed Nigeria that kind of like created a show of force and showed Nigeria that this P2P actually has followers. And this led to other 1 million man matches that happened. It was this man talking. He will be there talking till around 12, 1, 2 Nigerian time. Then he will log out. I think he goes to work. So why am I saying this? Anything you want to do it. If it is run that you can run. If it is crawling, crawl. If it is rolling. The most important thing is that you are moving forward, right? So whether people are talking, whether people are on the ground, boots on ground, doing the most they can, whether people are preaching in the buses, the most important thing is that we need to change government in this country. We need a different leader, a visionary leader, a leader that is compassionate, a leader that will set this country on a truly right path, not with doctored figures, not with over borrowed money, not with HDI and GDP crashing. No. So what I'm saying is this: it doesn't matter what you're doing, my brother. let's all agree that we are all relevant in this mission. And as it stands, the ultimate goal is, first of all, get yourself in that power. And then we can start discussing the rest of the things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Grando. Bruce, Mr. B, are you there? No, he's not here. Yeah, Will, I heard you were the one speaking before the space crash. So
Yes. Yeah, quickly.
yeah,
So, Grant,
can you please come up because we're okay. I think he's no longer here. She was talking about anyway. Okay.
I'm
Wanted
here,
to
please.
iron.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, so Will can go now.
yeah.
Will can go. Will can go. Will was the one that was speaking before the space crashed.
Yeah, so Grant, I'll respond to Grant briefly, and then I would actually continue from where I was speaking before the space crashed, because I was actually responding to Nkechi. So Grant, I think why, this whole talk of 4-year term issue is, coming up is because of the way Nigeria is set up, you understand, and how we are still, I think Nigerians probably haven't suffered enough to the point of jettisoning some kind of, this whole parochial kind of mindset that we have about, that this region, this or this, that, tribal this or tribal that, deciding when one, how many times have this region been in power and things like that, so it's at this point you would think that what the people would actually be focused on, irrespective of what region they come from, is who the cap fits, who is the best, among the rest to actually do this job. But as you can see, the way the country is set up is the way it's set up. So that mindset is yet to change. And while we are at that, and that's why P2B is hammering on this thing, he's trying to pass a message to these people that, look, he is not, that kind of person, or this is who he is and this is what he's going for. He understands the feeling in the North that, okay, in the 24 years or whatever, 20 whatever years of democracy, we've had more, we've had more people from the South rule the country compared to those from the North. So he understands that sentiment and things like that, and he's trying to just appeal to that. So I just want to put that out there. So continuing from where I stopped, while I was responding to Nkechi. So I was saying that.
Sorry, Will. I think also
yes.
there's also another purpose behind it, that you need to give the North something, right? You can't just come and tell them to just simply get the Tinubu out of there for you, and then you are going there to do 8 years. They will settle for Tinubu. You understand? So that's not the point.
Yeah, we tell them you're going there to settle for 4 years, right? Yeah, so I get that point. So the thing is that, so Nkechi, I listened to what you said, and I actually, understand why you think that way, especially seeing, where we've gotten to as a country and the whole thing happening in the country and what actually happened in the past, as regards Goodluck Jonathan and all that. So I was saying that some people will live and die by their principle. And when it comes to issues like this, track record matters. And that is why when for those who are trying to compare, what P2B is saying to what Jonathan is saying, what was Jonathan's track record when it comes to standing by his word, when it comes to being principled and things like that, compared to P2B? So let's put that aside. So you look at someone like Mandela, you understand, Mandela, he made a lot of sacrifice for his people and for himself and for his family and everything.
Will,
so,
not be offended,
yes.
Not cutting you short. Why Jonathan was campaigning? Because I follow Jonathan even from before he began to campaign. I know while he was in office, there were times I read in the news that he said he will not stay beyond 2015, right? But while he was campaigning, was there any place he said publicly? Because there is this
you mean Jonathan?
Yes,
He
I
never
mean, I
said a
can't
damn thing
remember
like that. It was Obasanjo that
anywhere
said it.
like that. I mean, he never said anything about. So people comparing him with Jonathan actually being disingenuous, to be honest with you. So continue.
Yes. All right. So when Mandela, took over, when he came into office after the whole apartheid thing was shut off and everything, he had a good leadership, especially the country coming from where he was coming from. So he came into power, he ruled the country, and after 4 years, there was immense pressure from all over. You understand? Asking this man to actually run again, go for the second term. And, there was pressure. So, and then we're not even talking of a country we're not even looking at a situation compared to that of Nigeria when it comes to, saying, oh, this tribe has done or whatever, this region has not done or whatsoever. Irrespective of whatsoever, there was that unison, in calling for him to continue in power. But being the kind of person that he is, and being as principled as he is, he stood his ground. He took that 4 years as he saw that 4 years as a time to actually set an example and set South Africa on a trajectory and set South Africa on the right path to continue from. And he felt his job was done after that 4 years. Of course, you don't expect South Africa during that time or after that 4 years to actually just, everything to just transform at once and whatsoever. Like I gave an example that no country has stopped developing. Development will ever continue as long as the world lives. So he did that, and he stood his ground, and he got off. After that 4 years, he didn't recontest or whatsoever, and he left the scene.
Will,
So
quick
now,
question. Do you think, what was it called? South Africa would have been better off if he did a second tenure?
if Mandela had
Yeah.
done a second tenure, okay, there's something you guys don't understand. If you say, if you had said, if your question has been this way, if you had said that if South Africa would have been better if he remained maybe a life president or stayed there for long, like Lee Kuan Yew or something like that, I will probably understand from where your question is coming from. But when you say with South Africa would have been better if he did 8 years, trust me, if a leader is going to, under the kind of democracy that we practice and under the kind of democracy that South Africa practices, if a leader is going to make an impact for 4 years, or if a leader is going to make an impact, 4 years or 8 years wouldn't be an issue. If a leader is going to fail, 4 years or 8 years wouldn't be an issue. That leader will still fail. In fact, give that leader, it's just like Tinubu or Buhari. Let's give Buhari as an example. Give Buhari the next 100 years, Nigeria would have kept sinking, or at the very best, remain stagnant. So all this one we're saying 4 years or 8 years is not a leader that would deliver. In fact, in the first 1 year, you would know. A leader that would deliver in the first 2 years, you will begin to see results. A leader that would deliver after 4 years, you would have known that, okay, this person has done well. Or this, if it's a leader that is going to fail, you would have known, in fact, from the very first 1 year, you would have known that this person is headed nowhere. So Nkechi made mention of something. He said that, okay, because she was looking at sustainability, and she pointed, I'm ending with this, right? And then she pointed out that that 8 years is good for sustainability. And that's why 8 years will be better, because 4 years means he gets out and some wrong person could get in there and mess things up. Trust me, even if Peter Obi or any good leader at that decides to go for 10 years, it's if the people, if his successors are bad leaders, they will get there and turn the country back again. They will get there and mess everything up again. So it doesn't matter how long a good leader stays, especially if that good leader is not staying for like decades. If that leader is staying for this usual 8 years or 10 years, that's why some of us have been clamoring. And that's why I was hammering. Grandmaster wasn't here when I was speaking about election, making the people's votes count. That is even my focus rather than anything else. My focus is how can the vote of the masses count? And that's why when it comes to sustainability, there is no way. If Nigeria, even if give P2B 20 years today, if P2B finishes that 20 years and those coming after him are not good enough, things will reverse back to us again. And that's why when the people's vote starts counting, it will be easy to have, and it will be easy if at all Nigerians have learned their lesson. It will be easy for people to actually, vote the right people, and it will be easy to have back to back good leadership. Because if you ask me, I will tell you that for Nigeria to actually like have that, get it really, really right, and for sustainability to occur, it will take like four minimum, 4 to 5 or thereabout at the minimum, good leadership, good leaders coming into power, like back to back, like when you finish, another good leader takes over. It's just like what Alex Otti is doing. I bet you today, if Alex Otti leaves that office and the wrong person gets into that office, max 4 years, maximum 4 years, you will go to Abia State and you will not recognize. You will be like, oh my God, what just happened? So there's need for that. What matters is the recurrence of good leaders, not having just one of good leader come and go. You understand? So that's the point I was trying to make.
There are reforms that are like the reforms people made in education and healthcare in Anambra State. I don't think even next 20 bad leaders can change it. And even up to this moment, I don't think it is practically impossible. They may not be able to improve on it, but like reversing it to what it used to be before then, I mean, I don't think it's possible. I give you an example with like the health sector, right? While he came into office, I don't think there was any functional state primary healthcare system, no nursing school, nothing, right? When it comes to healthcare, zero, right? Today, right, Anambra State has more nursing school and primary healthcare than any state, including Lagos State in Nigeria, right? And these places are very functional. These are places I've been to. There's one in my community, and that is and those things are policy based, right? By returning it to the mission and fund and having government fund it to a certain degree. So you go to the ones like you have one diocese in my place, then the Catholic, because that one is owned by Anglican, although it was originally done by the people, I mean the community, so they couldn't fund it. They handed it over to the government. The government was messing it up. So at the time he wanted to return it, the church was the most valuable people to return it to, and he did that. I mean, if you go there, you won't believe actually what's happening there. Now the Catholics are building their own, and one of the best sites you ever see. Their own is not yet functional, but maybe within 2 years. So we're going to be having two in my small community. You have also so many places at Ogidi, you have at Iyen, you have at Mpo, you have almost everywhere, right? Those type of reforms, even in the education sector, these things may not, in fact, there are transformational and generational things that you will do, right? Except maybe war crisis or something that is unprecedented, that it will never return back. And these are the things, for example, the INEC reform you're talking about, right? Because if you are leaving it at the mercy of people, there will be a problem, right? If there is a reform that will permanently return the power to the people, right, so that there won't be any idiots that will come and put up the server and everything, that alone, right, will permanently make the people able to choose their leader. So that reform alone is not something another person can undo easily, except he's a dictator, right? I'm not a big fan of Obasanjo anyway, but Obasanjo's decision to retire, something Shagari refused to do that made the idiots Buhari came into power. To retire those who actually who would have conducted coup within 1 or 2 years, right? And take them off military, right? Has sustained Nigeria to the extent that even till today, there's no sight of military coup ever in Nigeria. So there are transformational changes he could make in 4 years that even forever it cannot be undone. But so, and I think that is also the point. Supporting what you said that we need to subsequent good leaders. Yeah, but I think there are systemic changes you can make. We may not be at the mercy of one person who just come into power, whether the person is an idiot. But I mean, I think we need a functional system rather than having one to believe in one leader that will do one or two. I don't know. Okay, I don't know whether you can. If you want to react, you can react. So that we'll move to Nkechi because she's the only lady here. Then we'll toss the mark around to Boss Scholar Day, then wife and the rest. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Nkechi can speak.
Okay. In case you can go. Then,
Okay, thank you. Yeah, well, I had to come in to speak because my name was mentioned. Yeah, just to reiterate on what I said earlier for people who were not here then and might be wondering what is it that was said. I still maintain my stand that probably I didn't frame it like this earlier, but I would rather PO doesn't say that he's going to do a 4-year term and just leave it like that, and just, get into power and whatever happens, than saying, I'm going to do a 4-year term. He didn't say it once. He had to say it again, just making effort to try to convince people to believe him that he's only going to do a 4-year term. Because I believe he's a man of integrity, which I said here before, and I stand on it. I believe if PO tells you he's going to do 4 years, he will do 4 years. And even with this scenario that people are painting, that there's a possibility of when he's doing so well, the people can say that they want him to do again and all that. The PO that I know, that I've studied, that I've monitored, would refuse. He would keep and stick to his promise of 4 years. And for me personally, I like sticking to the topics of spaces when I speak. The topic here, the question here is a 4-year term enough? And based on the premise of what I've said before now, I don't believe 4 years is enough for somebody like PO to try and fix this country, which is what we are all yearning for. Because the state the country is, he's going to work really quick. I believe that. I have so much hope in him. Anyway, I don't know. I have so much hope, so much faith.
So how many years would be enough for him, Auntie Nkechi?
Based on Nigerian situation, I would say for normal 8 years that presidents do. He would do that 8 years and we will be able to enjoy the benefit of whatever he's going to put on ground for that 8 years, and we'll get some sort of stability. I do also appreciate the last speaker who said that even if he does 100 years and a bad person comes in, that the whole thing can go down the drain. I understand that, but I also believe that PO doing 8 years we would feel the impact more than when he's solely done a 4-year term, and leave. So That is it really. I still maintain, because why I'm saying, if it were other politicians, for example, I wouldn't even be bothered, because when they tell you run, you better stand. But for somebody like PO to come out, say it again, that he's going to do 4 years, I believe that he will do that 4 years, and he will not do a day longer. But then we are, none of us can predict what the future is.
Looking at it, looking at the situation, because me personally, right, I wouldn't even want him to do 4 years. That is personally, but I think we are stuck with only one option here, right? Either a 4 year of PO, or probably not to have PO in the next 12 years. That is just the
Those
only.
are two options, not one. So then,
Yeah, so we are stuck with just two options: either have him for 4 years, or not to have him until 12 years time. So it's either we choose to have him now for 4 years, or we wait for 12 years time to see whether we may even have him. I mean, in that type of situation, what will be the option? What will be your what's it called? Your choice, owing to the fact that you don't even know what will happen in the next 12 years or 14 years. And again, how strong he will be, and looking at everything, whether even in that 14 years you have opportunity for him to even run, whether the country would have been turned to one party state.
At the end of the day, nobody can predict what will happen in the next 1 hour. That is how life is. But we are all trying to paint pictures here. If you ask me sincerely, I don't think anybody will win Tinubu in 2027. That is my sincere opinion. I don't think anybody will win him in 2027. But if it happens and Peter Obi gets into power, and like you have painted the picture that we only have two choices, which is either he comes and does 4 years in 2027, or we would have to wait for another 12 years. I mean, we are all in a hurry for Nigeria to be fixed. So I would rather he comes in sooner, which is in 2027, and do whatever he has to do, and we keep our fingers crossed from there, than say we wait and have Nigeria with the mess it is for another 12 years. That's my answer to your question.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say this in 30 seconds? I think also we overlook the fact that 8 years tenure is actually not the norm in Nigeria.
Exactly what I wanted to
because
say.
if you look at it critically, only 2 presidents have actually ever done 8 years tenure. The other 2 presidents we had have not had 8 years. And if Tinubu loses in 2027, which I personally believe is very much possible, now Tinubu will be the 3rd president that did not do 8 years. So it will not be the exception. It will be the norm, not doing 8 years. Just wanted to add that. And again, the Constitution only prescribes a 4-year term.
Make 4 years.
Exactly.
So if like I said initially, if 4 years is not enough for anyone to actually make a good impact, I think then we should start calling for our constitution to be revisited, so we can actually have 8 years for anybody that is coming in. I'm just saying that sarcastically, So there's a reason why, like I said, the framers of the constitution have it as 4 years, which means it is 4 years you have to actually deliver. So delivering in 4 years doesn't mean that, everything must fall in place. Government is a continuum, but when you see a good leader, so, and that good leader doesn't have to do like everything, whether you give him 4 years or 8 years, but at least the person would have set a lot of things in place within that space of time. When Obasanjo came into power, when he set up the EFCC, ICPC, and all those institutions that you see in Nigeria today, he did most of that in his first 4 years. You understand? So 4 years is more than enough to do a whole lot of things, And that's why I gave example with Yaradua. Yaradua only spent 2 years or thereabout, and then he he went off the scene, died off. And what happened? Those impacts are still there in Niger. What he did in Niger, the impact is still felt till date. So there's a whole lot you can do within 4 years. So whether P2B gets 8 years or whether he gets 4 years or whatsoever, there's if he's a good leader, if he is going to deliver, he will deliver within whatever space of time he has. So it's left for his successor to either come there and mess the whole thing up or continue from where he stops. So that's just the way I see it. So leadership is a continuum. So, and then P2B is also looking at the sentiment in the North. So him saying that is for a reason. They say once bitten, twice shy. The North have had it with Goodluck Jonathan. Even if Goodluck Jonathan did not say it outrightly that he's going to do just 4 years, it's the same thing. Those of you those of you saying that P2B shouldn't have voiced it out, it's the same thing. So if P2B doesn't voice it out, they are going to look at it as a Jonathan reoccurrence, that, oh, this man, if we decide to vote for him, he might pull, a Jonathan on us again or something. So they wouldn't want that to occur. And P2B also understand that sentiment, and that's why he is hammering on this, that he's a man of his words, and they can hold him to that. That's just it.
Thank you very much. Boss Kolade, you have the mic.
Okay, thank you, my brother. Yeah, I also want to join Grant in letting us know that we need to be very careful with this 4-year topic. Yes, we might have different sentiments, but in my own opinion, it's a very sensitive one. And if PO, in his own wisdom, have come out to agree, he said it's a vow that is sacrosanct, have come out to agree and to state that he's only going to do 4 years and he won't do more than 4 years. I think that it will be in our own interest to just stick to what he has said, promote that with everything we have gotten or everything we have, rather than still trying to use our own personal emotions. We all have emotions, okay, but in voicing out our own personal emotions, some people will interpret it to be like, oh, then there's a room to be doubted, that tomorrow everybody can just wake up and just tell him, no, you must come. No, we don't want that to happen. Please let us respect the man's opinion. Let us respect his stand, and let us just wish, like we rightly said, government is continuum. If PO today, spend that is 4 years, reform INEC, I can assure you, if INEC is reformed, we will have more intelligent people, better people, people with more capacity, with more integrity. They will then begin to spring up. That is when me and you can then have the opportunity to contest election in a country like Nigeria. So PO is just going to be like the John the Baptist. Then any other person that will come henceforth with the reform he's going to do to make sure that you won't just come and spend money to buy everybody to buy over the election. Like it's going to be the people's voice. You get, so if such reforms are put in place with a PO like being the John the Baptist, then that's what we need. You get it. So for me, again, please, it's just a call for us so that in the process of we just trying to voice out how we feel or what we think, so that we don't just create unnecessary tension, because people are reading every spaces. They will come and tell you tomorrow, oh, obedience might do this. No. Let them know that we agree to what our principal is saying. Our principal has said it's 4 years, it is 4 years. Sacrosanct. Nothing will change that. Once the North see that we truly mean it and we agree to it with our principal, forget it. The rest is zero. And let me also tell you, the politics in quote, those who are also eyeing that position, you get it, the politics they are playing is on this same topic, on this same 4-year topic. What they have told them in the North is that, oh, we can't trust him. Once he gets power, he's going to just sit down tight. Then power will come back to them. That is the fear they have. You get it? And what everybody is just saying, you hear what Tinubu's aide said, immediately PO said it again. Tinubu says he's lying. Everybody is saying he's lying. So what is their business with it? Is lying. But our own principal have said it. I think it is now left for us to help him propagate that message and reassure people that is a man that keeps to his word and is going to keep to it. Once we do that, I think it's all over. Thank you.
Yeah, I basically think we don't even have any other option, if you ask me, because Tinubu's second tenure is not an option, and any other person first tenure is not an option. So, I mean, debating this thing is actually kind of, I mean, even if it's just 2 years, a lot of things would have changed before we start, to be honest with you. I don't think it's like we have option to choose another thing. Anyway, so Waifu is here. Gran, you want to make submission and you want to chip in
I just
something so
want to
that
chip in a couple of things just quickly. So, first of all, there was something that Will said. I feel like that thing actually is something that we should pay very close attention to. Even if PO is to spend 50 years in power, eh? You know, creating policies that, sustainable policies that can actually, effect changes. If PO leaves and the right person takes over, Otilo. Sorry, the wrong person takes over, Otilo. So continue for continuity, you understand, to yield results, right? You need the right person there. And why am I saying this? I'll use the South Africa that he mentioned earlier. I think it was you that mentioned Alfonso as an example.
No, it was
Okay,
me.
well, it was you. Yes. You should go and take a look at what is currently going on in South Africa. South Africa is in very rapid decline, decay. The country is literally decaying, right? Mandela handed over a prosperous country to, to the ANC. I would say maybe aside Thabo Mbeki, the rest of the people that have come out of that ANC party have been some of the worst leaders that have been ever South Africa. And the effect is visible in South Africa too. Like some townships in Johannesburg are in complete decay as I'm talking to you right now. Like these are places that had been maintained for close to 60, 70 years. The ANC has continuously been churning out mediocre leaders after mediocre leaders, right? The party, no other party has got into power. And then because they have felt so much comfortable, in power since Mandela left, South Africa is decaying. As of today, South Africa has started rationing power. You know that thing that they never knew before, yeah, that was going to happen to them. South Africa now, they are having about 14 hours, 13 hours electricity. Google it. It is a mess. Their grids are beginning to collapse. So when you talk about, continuity, I think that is even much more important than how long a leader stays. Because no matter how long a leader stays, one day that leader will go. What happens? You understand? What kind of caliber of leaders will take over, right? So that is it, number one. Number two, the point I wanted to make again is this. Remember when I told you guys that the element of surprise is over? The political dynamics in Nigeria, you understand, the dynamics have changed. And we need to accept that what happened in 2023 may not necessarily happen anymore. So when you look at it today, you find out that Tinubu understands this. And that is why he is now going for the traditional P2B base, support base that voted for him in 2023. Specifically, the Northwest, the North Central and the South South. If you remember when Keyamo was speaking, he spoke about the reason why P2B will not be able to win because there are three demographics that voted for him. He mentioned them, right? Now, he mentioned something. He said, we will now use our structure in the North to now defeat him and then deal him the death blow. So they still believe that they have a structure in the North. And that is why they are now going for P2B's traditional support base. And as it starts today, I'm sorry to say this, I don't know how it's going to look for P2B. in the next election in 2027 in the South, right? I'm hoping that it's going to pan out, well for him, and that the people will resist. And being the fact that it's going to be a presidential election, that the people, to a certain degree, you understand, will use the commotion and everything that happened on that day to surprise the APC. But with characters like Okpebelo or whatever, coming out to tell you that he's going to deliver 2 million votes, and the way that one is speaking, you can clearly tell that this is a thug and he's going to use everything in his power. You look at characters like Wike. River State, as of today, still has no governor, right? And if that governor returns, that governor has signed an agreement, possibly will sign over that state to Tinubu. What are the people there going to do? Are we talking about Akwa Ibom? Akwa Ibom State, where the Senate president is from, and they are hoping that by 2031, that the Senate president will become the vice president to the Northern that will run. Or are we talking about the other two states? You understand? Like Delta states that has been taken by the APC. So, in as much as I know that we are still going to get significant vote from the South and the Southwest, I think we should also understand that the everything has realigned. So the North has come into play, and you're not going to just simply, not give them anything. It's not going to happen. This is a game of interest. There's going to be negotiation, involved. And the North will look at it and say, what are my options? Do I go for this man that I'm not sure he's going to be, he's going to leave power when he does his 4 years? Or do I stick with the person that has already done 4 years, and we know that no matter what, come what may, that he's going to leave power in 2031 and hand it over to Nathana. That is why I believe Peter Obi is coming out to assure them that just as Tinubu is going to leave power in 2031, right, he himself is also going to leave that power in 2031. I believe that this is a strategic game that he's playing, because you know how sensitive the entire case of P2B is. Let's not come and act as if, he has been widely accepted in the North. If he's coming to grandstand with them, he will not get their votes. He needs to offer them something. And first of all, he has to level himself out with Tinubu by telling them that I will not stay there more than 4 years. And I personally believe that P2B will make a very great impact in this country in under 4 years. He has continuously said that he doesn't even need 4 years. I mean, it's just been 2 years now, into 2.5 years, into not even up to 2.5 years, 2 years something, right? Into Tinubu's state. He has gone into campaign mode. Governance is over. There is no more governance going to take place. And mind you, by the time the elections, finish in 2027, let's imagine that Tinubu wins that election. He's not going to govern again. It is over. It's just going to be looting galore, right? So I feel like people underestimate what 4 years actually is. 4 years is actually enough for people to, make an impact. Those policies that need to be put in place, you put those policies there and invest in those policies, finance those policies, and then the impact will start being seen. You understand? So it does sometimes not even need to stay 2 or 3 years. You start seeing the impact gradually. I mean, look at the health sector. I personally believe that the moment P2B finds his way in government, you understand, he will start building federal hospitals all across this country. All across this country. He will start, rejuvenating the schools, building more schools. At least, if anything, you understand, if he builds the schools, if he builds hospitals, if he, revitalizes the agricultural sector in this country and tackles insecurity, I think I don't need anything else from him. This is just the groundwork he needs to lay. Because these are the things that are holding us back as a country from being productive. And then tackles electricity. These 5 things. And he tackles electricity. Most importantly, electricity as well. So me personally, I don't believe, let me just end with this, that these things will take forever to achieve. A serious person, somebody that actually came with a plan and starts from the first day to start, getting his or her hands dirty, right? Will exactly implement these policies, and by 4 years, we'll start seeing the result of these policies. So that's all I wanted to add to it. Thank you very much.
So when you say, oh, um, you explain how the dynamics have changed, and you gave a gloomy situation, a really, really gloomy. I mean, what I mean, like a really dark situation. How it might be difficult to repeat what happened in 2023 because of how Tinubu is playing his politics, is eating into the base of Obi from north central and south south. And you said we have to give something to the north. So yes, I agree. I mean, you have to give and take. Is
Yeah, Kosa, what is your question?
My question is that the one term pledge, is that there's something that needs to be given to the north? That one term vow from Peter Obi.
Yes, he has to, because it is obvious that in 2031, power will change hand. Whether you want to believe it or you don't want to believe it, it will change hand. You understand? Not power will not stay in the south past 2031. And you and I know this. You understand? I
I,
mean, let's not
I
forget.
agree. Yes.
Mhm. So he has to, of course, assure them that no matter what happens, just as Tinubu will hand over power in 2031, he, P2B, is also ready to hand over power in 2021. Otherwise, you understand? Northerners will not see any incentive in voting for him. What is the point? You're not going to try to vote somebody that will go there and perpetuate himself for 8 years. So what are they going to do? Start waiting for 8 years for him to finish? No. So P2B is doing what is necessary and what is needed. And like I said, we should not lay more emphasis on the number of years. We should actually lay more emphasis on the ability of the person or the willingness of that person to actually work. Because I believe that for somebody who wants to really work, my brother, it doesn't take much to change this country. I mean, it's not as if, like I said, these five things I mentioned: health, education, revitalization of agriculture, security, electricity. If we can do these things right, and then maybe probably along the line get our monetary policies, right. What else do I need as a person? I think if somebody else comes in and follows on that path, I think we are going to get it right. So my brother, for now, I think he's strategically pandering to the north, and I think it is needed personally. Thank you.
I agree. I agree. I agree. Because sadly, the way our country is built, with turn by turn, we have no option. Another question. Um, I mean, some people have said that his VP should also be chosen. That should be one of the concession he needs to make. Do you agree with that? Since he is going to give them the one term pledge. Also, are they going to choose his VP? Because people keep thinking Obi and Dati is going
Sorry,
to
please,
go.
who's speaking? Sorry.
Oh, it's me. It's
Idiakosa,
Jacosa.
Idiakosa.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me,
we can hear you. We
Mr.
can hear
D?
you.
Yeah. So what do you think?
Okay, so yeah, you have to realize, Idiakosa, that you're going into a coalition. If the coalition works out, in the coalition, you're not going to get everything you want. That is just a simple fact of it. Yes, Obi is a heavyweight. He's a juggernaut in that coalition. But Obi will not determine everything. Now, if you look at it critically, you find out that besides Tinubu, besides Tinubu, all the vice presidents we've had in this country, we are picked by somebody else. Atiku was picked by the PDP themselves. to deputize Obasanjo because Obasanjo was not that politically savvy. I think was right. Jonathan was picked by Obasanjo, handpicked and made the vice president of Yaradua. Sambo, the same thing, right? Osibanjo was picked by the ACN caucus of the APC and decided that he was the best man forward they can put forward, right? The best man
by Tinubu himself, actually.
Yeah, I just call him ACN caucus. They don't call for me, you understand?
I think the only VP that the president picked was actually Sambo. That is, I think Goodluck picked Sambo
I don't think
himself,
he picked Sambo. No. It was the Northern Cabal that actually,
the Northern Cabal never wanted Sambo, and that is why, if you look at the voting uptick, they never voted for him, and that was his problem with El-Rufai.
I may be wrong with that, but I remember having.
Let me remind you something, right? Sambo is from Kaduna, right? In the time of Sambo, prior to El-Rufai regime, Kaduna always have these Christian Christian deputy governor every time until that Sambo time. So his deputy was Patrick Yakowa, right? So if Goodluck picks Sambo, right, they will have the first Christian governor, right? So when he picked Sambo, because according to Goodluck, he says Sambo used to be very accountable as a governor when it comes to collect this thing and this thing. And Patrick Yakowa became governor. This thing rattled the North. I mean, these people. That was part of the reason why, if you look at that 2011, they didn't support him in any way, shape, or form. I mean, when they tell you all those things that he didn't get any support, there you look at the numbers. The numbers
he didn't win in the corner. Yeah.
He didn't get, not that he didn't win, he didn't get any support. He didn't even do 25% in reasonable place. He was beaten like as if some of them, most of those places are PDP governors, but he was losing the election as if I mean he was not even in the race. So there was this rumor that they say that he deliberately chose Sambo so that he will hand over Kaduna to the Christians in North. So somehow, they raised the religious sentiment so bad against him that made him not to get their support in that first tenure. So if you ask me, since 1999, Sambo is the only one that, and probably Shetima, not Tinubu picked Shetima himself. Was the only one that was chosen by the sitting president. Even the Dati, our darling Dati, wasn't chosen by PO now. It was Obasanjo that chose Dati. We don't forget that one. Anyway, that's it. So grand complete, so that we'll move to Waifu or something. Yeah.
Okay, let me just
let somebody else go. I'm already doing something else. Thank you.
Okay. Waifu, are you there? Yeah,
just take a cue. Afo, there have been multiple hands up, and some of them have put down their hands. Let's take a cue so that we can have people talk. Wafo has been here for a long time.
Waifu, Chick, and Chick Media and India. Is there any other person I cannot see?
There was. Look, I think no. Some of them have dropped the mic, so maybe they will come back up.
Okay.
So what?
Giving some. First, I want to talk about how the election will be. Then I'll come back to the topic on the that we are talking about, which is the 4 years term. Firstly, for me, I am overseeing that going into 2027, the likelihood that APC will have some internal distortion going into that 2027 election, because one of the reasons why I'm saying this is that
first they are ruling party. Everybody will want to position himself in that 2027 to want to get the slice of the cake, especially the CPC arm, which currently they have felt a little, abandoned within his government. That is what I'm saying, number one. Then number two that I'm also saying is that, we have had this defection and the rookies that have defected into the party, which are like the Labour Party guys in National Assembly that came all the way from nowhere, won an incumbent. Some of them are APC incumbents that have been like maybe 2 times senators. Some of them are like maybe 1st-time senators. Some of them are like 3-time senators. But the rookie that came through the Labour Party and Obi movement, was able to defeat them. So again, it's also, for me, I'm looking at it that those rookies will feel that they will, get the APC tickets in the next coming election. But that rift, I'm saying that rift that will happen internally within them and the gladiators that have already been in the parties and that have, been in the National Assembly. So I don't know how APC is going to handle the new people that are coming into defecting into APC. That's number one. Number two, again, is the big guns who are like the governors that have also defected to APC. I'm also seeing, a threat there for APC, how they are going to internalize all those people, welcome them, and their supporters that they are bringing in to sort of like position them in the states. So, with what we have seen in sort of like Labour Party, and Peter Obi going into Labour Party, and then we discover that, the other guys trying to form a fraction, trying to say, oh, people cannot just come all the way and then begin to outshine us in the party and all of those things. So I am seeing those internal distortion that will happen within the APC, and that will give a leeway to the opposition party to kind of like have a ground to get a good formation going into 2027. I don't know. I just have this feeler that this will happen. And then if it happens, it gives the opposition a leeway for them, because at that time, APC will try to want to focus internally to see how they can, come up. And again, another thing that I'm also looking at.
Wait first. What if all this thing you're talking about didn't happen?
There is no way you will have, this new breeds coming into a party that have outshined the old ones that are in the party. There is no way you not have this discussion. Even in ADC, you would be hearing some of those sort of talks to say that there are people who has already been in the party, and now
I like your optimism, but this is what you should put into consideration. APC is a party in power, right? They have enough resources to settle everybody that is aggrieved. I don't know whether you know that. Let me give you an example. In the states where I have always resided because of education and academics, Cross River, right? Senator Waneno presumed that he won the primaries of APC, right? APC zoned their ticket to South because that was brought this guy Basio too, that is very inactive as he is today, right? After the primaries, even his supporters said they will not support Basio too, but they will support Tinubu, right? But after everything, right? Owaneno Basio too became the governor. Owaneno was made minister. So this idea that when they are sure, if you assure them that there's something on the table for them, and that is why me personally, right? I am not banking on what has not happened, right? If they fall out, right, like Malami and the rest, right? If they are falling out with the government, let them fall out and join the opposition and fight. Let us see them now. But if you are waiting for one thing that will happen tomorrow and you're putting it into your plans. I mean, I don't even know who plans that way. You're waiting for one favorable situation, thinking that, see, I mean, this thing, we have seen APC come over this nonsense almost every time, right? In Edo State, that is not too far ago, right? The first primary that was conducted was won by the guy they made deputy governor, Denko, from Edo South. So chosen by Oshomole, right? Okpewolo ran to Tinubu and told him that, see, oh, this will not happen. Edo Central has done. Tinubu gave the ticket, right? He made Denko the VP. People thought they were going to court. They never went to court. Today they are governors, so I don't think they have to share. They have a lot to toss around. I mean, Nigeria is all limited for them to share to aggrieved members whom you think will definitely. The only thing that will bring them to position.
You didn't let me. You didn't let me land in my 3 points on how APC is going to happen. Because again, I'm not taking it off the reality and speculations. The reality is that we now have the rookies that are in that party. You rightly said it that those negotiations will come in. You understand? You rightly said it that they have the cake, they can share it around because they are the ruling party, right? So those internal negotiations, they will need to firm it up. Those internal negotiations have rightly not even started yet. Okay, so what I'm seeing, it is based on the mass defection that has happened and some of the gladiators are in the parties already. So settling all of these guys will come with negotiation and will come with internal alignment and arrangement. So again, those internal alignment and arrangement, sometimes it may not really all go well. Like the case you cited, which is Edo State that you cited. Edo State is just one of the states. It's just one out of many. You could imagine during close to election and you have all of these cases. And then APC will need to go into their shell first to sort of settle all of these cases before they can now come out in one fold. But nevertheless, you agree with me, anybody will agree with me that this will happen within the party. That internal negotiation will happen, which is sacrosanct, which is important for them to do. Because they have had some gladiators, which are the governors that are in the party, and they have also had the rookies who defected from Labour Party and some of the small parties. Okay, but moving away from that, I also want to state, or I also want to think in this direction that, if you see what is happening currently and how the political parties have now begin to see how they can, strategize their election going into 2027, is that all strategy that you can see, even from the ruling party and opposition party, all strategy are around Peter Obi as we speak. So they are trying to what I have seen. They are trying to understand where does Peter Obi belong, or what are the antics? What is Peter Obi? What is he trying to do? Where is he going? Nobody is planning election based on INEC, what's it called, modus operandi, or based on what will happen. It's just based on what Peter Obi is. Where is he going? What is his next move? Those are the strategy you are seeing. So when you see that Peter Obi put up a tweet and is sending, that tweet alone is sending shockwave around all political parties, regardless whether the small, the big political parties. Even Sowore also analyzes what Peter Obi does. So, and then if you now discover exactly what Inspector Keyamo is saying, he's saying that He like what the opposition are doing, and he likes what Peter Obi to go and to put them on the run. They will need to double up and do more. Okay, so now believing that and going into that is that what I have seen is that yes, Peter Obi 4 years is something that is doable. Anywhere around the world, you will see it. Dubai transform. I don't want to use Dubai because Dubai is a big example. I mean, it's too far example here from Africa. But Dubai transformed within our lifetime. Okay. So we could also see China also transform within our lifetime. And the transformation that they have, the transformation that people have is as a result of education. So when Peter Obi is saying that he is going to turn the trajectory of where we are going in 4 years, it is not a fallacy. It is something that is practicable, that we have seen happen in every main place around the world. Because now, if you are able to turn around these 5 things: healthcare, education, agriculture, you are able to feed. In fact, it's people who are able to feed and and don't worry about the next meal, that can think of innovation, think of progress and the likes. So for me, that 4 years is even too much. I want to also cite another example that is closer to me in Lagos. In the time of Jakonde, you will hear Jakonde this, Jakonde that, Jakonde this. Jakonde didn't use 4 years. Jakonde did not use 4 years, but his legacy and the things that he did is being acclaimed by everybody. Everybody is claiming it now. Even the so-called person in presidency is also claiming that he did that was what he did. So my own submission is that 4 years is even too much. And for somebody who was also saying that, okay, what if Peter Obi do a fantastic 4 years, set the pace, increase what education and these 5 things, and then the country is moving in a very good direction. GDP is growing, and then the next person comes in. See, one thing that is topical that I know that will happen within that 4 years is that reform of INEC, our electionary process. If that is done, we will not have people like Monday Okpebholo now that can. I can't even spell his name correctly. We will not have people like that in power. You can, okay, let me cite an example. Some people will say, yeah, it's UK, it's far. But in UK, can somebody like Okpebholo, even near UK, near the government of UK, can't even near it, because for you to even come out as a PM or come out as anything in UK, one, you will be able to articulate your point, you will be able to debate, you will be able to sit with people, discuss your ideas, discuss whatever you have with people. You'll be able to come out and say what you want to do. right? So if we have such a system, and I know that what Peter Obi is trying to well, I don't want to say I know, but I know that some of the things that he will try to do is to bring education close to government, and I know that for sure that will happen. So you will not have all of these glorified talks. If you see in his statement, he has also rightly said that he has never, engaged in any thuggery and all of that. You will not see all these glorified talks anywhere near government. So for me, I think 4 years is enough. Is even more than enough for anybody who wants to do anything. We could also see Buhari time. In Buhari's time, it took him 6 months for him to nominate most of his ministers. And before that time, the country is already plunging into recession. So you could, from the start, you will know. The same thing happened also in Tinubu's time. From the first 1 year, more than 10 million people, more than 5 million people have already entered into poverty, and it's counting. Almost 10 million in 2 years. More than 10 million people have entered into poverty. Let's imagine for a second that all of those policies that is turning out per second is in the reverse direction. Let's imagine what would have happened to this country. Buying a yacht, instead of buying a yacht, you put it into government, into education. Instead of buying a private jet, you put it into healthcare. Instead of building a house for the VP, you put it into agriculture. Let's imagine what would have happened and the transformation that would have happened in the country. So and all this happened within the space of 2 years. So that alone, and this abject poverty that we are seeing, and people are crying, a rise of cost of commodities, people can't feed two square meal in a day anymore, happens under 2 years. So tell me, how can anybody in his right sense debate that 4 years that somebody cannot do anything in 4 years? Yes, they will argue that governor is not getting getting more money. Convert those money to dollar, they are chicken change. They can't even do anything. For instance, you are buying yam. Before now, you buy a tuber of yam for 600 naira, 500 naira, 1,000, big ones. But now, if you want to buy that same tuber of yam, you are buying it for 7,000 naira. I'm not even talking about cement, how much it is. And you now say that the governors are having more money. What are they doing with it? More money that at the center. At the federal government, you have devalued those money, and then you now expect that the governors will do things with that money. I'm not taking away the governors, but what I'm saying is that as a government in the center, 4 years is enough to do whatever you want to do. From day one, it will be felt. So that's just my own little submission to this 4 years. Whether 4 years is enough or not.
Okay. Let me take it off from here. Okay. Well spoken. For me, I think